Social Media University. Many team calls in the past where we've talked about the state of Instagram and people have conflicting opinions. And so often it gets thrown around that Instagram is dying or dead. And I would love to hear your thoughts. I know you've shared it with me already on calls, but I'd love to share it with everybody else who's listening or watching to this. Is Instagram dying?
I think a lot of people would say yes, but I think if it's dying, it's a pretty slow death. you know, because like Instagram is just the cultural zeitgeist, man. I mean, I don't know about you, but I find myself just like when I'm just like meandering on my phone, I open it up and then I tap Instagram and then I'm there. It's like it is the hub where you go to see what your friends are following, who you follow, and all this other stuff. So A, it's still the cultural zeitgeist. B, most importantly, not most importantly, but just as importantly, the Facebook ecosystem has the most sophisticated advertising platform in the world. And from a creator standpoint, that's not as exciting, but from a business standpoint, it's very exciting. And so the fact that if you have an audience on Facebook, you can interlink it into Instagram and WhatsApp and all of the billions of users in Facebook's ecosystem, that makes Instagram audience very valuable. So I don't know if it's dying, although Facebook has a pretty good product team. Like, look how Stories kind of took over. Snap is not even in the conversation. How about that? Snap was in the conversation, and now it's just like IG Stories. What's Snap? So I'm never gonna rule Zuckerberg out because I think he's like the overlord of the world. but I will say I definitely think that I think that TikTok has proven that if you give people a space to just be purely creative, people will flock to it and really thrive in that medium. And I think TikTok is good for that. So while I'm betting on TikTok, literally deploying resources and people and talent and so on, I at the same time am still over indexing on Instagram, man, because it's just such a valuable platform.
I think that's the biggest thing that you nailed at the end there, where I think the biggest difference between TikTok and Instagram is that people aren't afraid to create TikTok content, where there is a little bit of that personal identity attached to the performance of Instagram content. And that's a very dangerous thing on a platform with diminishing organic reach, because that just means that naturally people are going to have less engagement. So then they're in turn going to feel worse about it. So I think that they're making strides by removing the like count and things of that nature. But like, I'm curious to find if they can find that sweet spot where they make it more of a creative platform. I think that could work wonders from getting the users back. But the business options there are so different compared to TikTok, because like we've had this conversation too, where someone can follow you on TikTok and never even have visited your profile. So it's like, what kind of relationship can you possibly build? Or they could follow you and never see your content again. So I think you're absolutely right. It's all about leveraging the momentum that's possible and then still focusing on the places that like aren't going to go away. And I see YouTube and Instagram, I don't see them going away anytime soon.
I have to concur with you. And the thing about Instagram, they're going to have to make a tough decision because they're a publicly traded company, and publicly traded companies are very short-term result oriented, because their results map to their share price and their quarterly earnings. And therefore, in order for them to do what you just said, which is to create a creator-friendly environment, they're going to have to increase organic reach. And when you increase organic reach, then you don't need to pay to play as much. So the only way they can increase organic reach is the de facto byproduct of increasing organic is people pull back on their spending and over index on the creation of organic. And by people doing that, because for example, if you can reach a lot of people organically, then you wouldn't put as much dollars behind it, right? Because you can just reach them by just posting. So by advertisers, by them pushing advertisers to their organic channels, I think it will help their long-term prospects, but short-term they will suffer a revenue dip. And that's truly the problem with companies going public. It's like, it's all about shareholder growth and profits every quarter, and so that drives you to make shorter and shorter term decisions. I think Zuckerberg is one of the few public CEOs that does have a long-term vision. However, I couldn't agree more, man. You got to increase the organic. Give us what we all want, man. We all want, we all want organic.